There is a kind of pain that words can barely describe. The pain of waking up one morning and realizing that the person you shared your dreams with is no longer there. The silence becomes louder than any noise. The house feels different. Simple routines suddenly become painful reminders. If you are listening to this today because you've lost your husband or wife, I want you to know one thing before we go any further. You are not alone. Welcome to Still Blooming, a safe space where widows and widowers can find hope, healing, and strength to keep moving forward. Today, we'll be talking about rebuilding life after losing a spouse. Not because it's easy, not because grief disappears, but because life somehow still asks us to keep living, and together we'll learn how. The first thing that we need to do is to accept that grief has no timeline. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing grief has an expiration date. They expect you to move on. They ask, aren't you over it yet? But grief doesn't work that way. Some days you smile, you'll be happy without joy and all. And other days you will cry because you found an old photograph, you heard a familiar song, or you smelled a perfume that reminded you of them. Healing isn't forgetting. Healing is learning to carry love and loss in the same heart. You give yourself permission to grieve. There is no price for pretending you are okay. Another thing widows and widowers feel is guilt. They feel guilty for being happy, they feel guilty for moving on, but you have to let go of guilt. You carry guilt and you be like, oh, I should have noticed the illness sooner. I should have spent more time. Or I shouldn't have said some words. So many if onlys. And that word, if only, can become a prison. The truth is this. Most of us made the best decisions that we could with the knowledge we had at that time. You are human. And love should not be measured by your final moments together. Release yourself from carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. And while trying to do that, trying to free yourself from guilt, you rediscover who you are. For many years, your identity had been tied to being someone's husband or someone's wife. Now you're asking yourself, who am I? Who are you really? The question is not a sign of weakness. It's the beginning of rediscovery. Perhaps you've always wanted to learn a new skill, start a small business, or go back to school, write a book, travel, volunteer, or just simply enjoy a quiet morning with a cup of tea. You're still a complete person. Your story did not end with your spouse's passing. A new chapter has begun. And you also need to take care of yourself again. Grief has a way of making us neglect ourselves. Losing a spouse is not an easy thing. For some, they stop eating. For some, they overeat. And some, they stop sleeping. Some, they never leave the house. But you know one thing? Your body deserves kindness. Drink water. Eat nourishing meals. Take short walks. Stretch. Rest when you need to. Visit your doctor for regular checkups. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. One other thing that is prone to widows is them isolating themselves. Do not isolate yourself. Loneliness is one of the hardest parts of widowhood. People visit during the funeral, they call during the first few weeks, then gradually, life goes on for everyone. But your grief remains. Please, do not isolate yourself. Reach out to trusted friends. Talk with friends, talk with family, join a support group. Attend community gatherings. Healing often happens in connection. Then don't feel guilty for smiling again. No, give yourself permission to smile again. Many widows and widowers feel guilty the first time they laugh after losing their spouse. It almost feels like betrayal for them. But joy is not disloyalty. Your spouse loved you. If they could speak today, many of them would probably say that, please, keep living. Smiling doesn't mean you've forgotten. Laughing doesn't erase your love. It simply means your heart is learning to breathe again. And one very important aspect again is to be wise with your finances. Losing a spouse often changes financial responsibilities overnight. So you have to take time to understand your finances, create a budget. You avoid making major financial decisions while emotions are still overwhelming, unless absolutely necessary. Seek professional advice if needed. There is strength in asking for help. Financial stability can provide peace during uncertain times. So you have to be wise with your finances. And one other aspect is raising our children. Raise your children with hope. If you are raising a child or children alone, know this: you don't have to be perfect. Your children don't need a perfect parent. They need a present one. Talk openly about the parent that they've lost. Allow them to cry. Allow them to grieve. Allow them to express themselves. Allow yourself to cry. You can still create new memories together with them. Love will still grow even after the loss. And for you, you need to find purpose again. Purpose doesn't always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it begins with very small steps, like helping someone, starting a hobby, returning to work, or getting back to business, mentoring another widow. Purpose gives pain somewhere meaningful to go. If you have a purpose, the pain will dissipate a bit. Your experience may become someone else's survival guide. You cannot tell. And this is a very sensitive one. Finding love again after the death of one spouse. It's okay to love again someday. Some people, they do not remarry. It is their choice. And others, they eventually find love again and remarry. Neither choices are wrong. Love is not a replacement. No one can replace the person you've lost. If your heart opens again one day, don't let guilt stop you from embracing happiness. Love isn't limited. The human heart has an incredible capacity to honor yesterday while embracing tomorrow. Your loved ones, they live on. Not that you can see them physically. They are not here physically. But their love remains. It remains in your memory, in your children, in the lessons they taught you, in the kindness that you are now showing to others. Death may end a life, but it does not erase love. Love continues. Here is my final encouragement today. If today feels heavy, take one more step. If tomorrow feels uncertain, take one more breath. If you feel like giving up, remember how far you've already come. You have survived days you once thought would destroy you. That alone tells me something remarkable. You are stronger than you realize. You're still worthy of love. You're still worthy of happiness. You're still worthy of peace. And most importantly, you're still blooming. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message encouraged you, please share it with someone who may need hope today. Subscribe to Still Blooming for more words of encouragement, healing, and strength for every widow and widower rebuilding life one day at a time. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Keep believing, keep healing, and most importantly, keep blooming.